Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm Ellen with blackfilm.com. It's such an honor to meet you, Tatyana.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So we are chatting about your new Christmas movie, A Picture Perfect Holiday on Lifetime. And I got to say, when I found out about this interview, I was excited for two reasons. One of them, I've been a fan of yours since Ashley Banks. Um, Second reason is I love Lifetime Christmas movies. They just have a way of just reinvigorating the idea of magic as it relates to Christmas. So it's the perfect duo. You and Christmas, I'm happy.
Okay.
So I instantly connected with your character, Gabby Jones. And I got to say, that's largely due to how you portrayed her. I thought it was very natural, which made it relatable. What did you think of Gabby when you first met her on paper, so to speak?
I I loved her immediately. I loved her hustle.
Mm,
I loved her kind of independence and spirit and wanting to take her career to the next level. I totally, you know, related to that. I also really loved the aspect of the film that's about her trying to improve her art.
mm,
You know,
yeah.
I learning how to flow, remembering again how to play, because I think that that's something that is always there for me, that balance. When you are creative and that's also your business,
Yeah.
you have to figure out like, okay, when is it business and when do I just drop all of that and just play? Because that's where all of the magic happens. And I loved that about the story. Um, and then the parts of the unknowns, you never really know how the I never really know how the love story is going to go until I meet my castmate.
Mhm.
And working with Henderson Wade was just incredible. He's just got incredible dramatic chops and comedic chops, and so we could really just play. And that was really one of the greater joys of making the movie.
Actually, that's a great segue to one of my questions. One of the things I pay close attention to in movies that sort of highlight career versus love is the love worth the sacrifice?
Mm.
And so, going back to the chemistry between your character Gabby and Sean Henderson Wade's character, I don't think I've ever been so excited to see two characters finally kiss. Like that was the buildup. The anticipation came across so clear, and it was so natural. So, how did that working relationship sort of inform your characters to bring that synergy to life?
I think, when you're making a movie like this, you don't really get a lot of rehearsal time. You
Mm.
kind of, you descend on wherever the location is, and then in a few days, you just kind of go. And um, it just clicked. It just clicked. We both have young children. We're both like he's a friend for life now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, and and it just clicked. He he I could go where I needed to go and know that he'd catch me, and he knew that he could go wherever he wanted to go, play around, even ad lib afterwards, and I would catch him. And that's really fun. I think sometimes these as a lover of holiday films, I'm sure you know this. This is a magical world that we're creating,
Yes.
where there are different rules in the storytelling. There's a certain narrative structure that you really do have to like lean into to get all of the good stuff out. And it's so fun to work with somebody who was willing to just like be silly, be vulnerable, and really give themselves to the magic, the kind of romantic magic that you're trying to create in the story. And he was totally willing to do that.
Mission accomplished. So this was the first time you guys met and or worked together in this on this project?
Yes, yes,
Wow.
yes. It was very much like kindred spirits. It was like, ah.
Right. I mean, I was sure you all go way back and this was just, pulled from that previous chemistry. But, there's a lot to be said that you met and it was an instant connection. And that
Mhm.
was felt through, by the viewer, by me. And so we're pretty clear early on about Gabby, the professional. And that's what made me connect to her from a creative perspective. Can you talk a bit about Gabby outside of her professional career and who she is?
Yeah, and I love that Anna, the writer of this, made this a part of the story. Um, she comes from her parents were divorced, and it was an ugly divorce. And so because of that, the holidays are not,
Right.
she's not like a Grinch, but it's not this magical time that people talk about. For her, it's a time when people fight, when she doesn't know whose house to go to, or whose loyalty she's betraying. It's just fraught with so much difficulty. And that doesn't only affect how she views Christmas, it also affects how she views relationships. And I like that about this story, is that they go there. I have experienced that in all of my relationships, whether they were dating, it's in my marriage, in my friendships, where what we experienced in our families affects what we think a loving relationship looks like, whether or not we even think it's possible.
Right.
And I think the film does a really nice way of like going there, not necessarily dwelling on it, but giving that like foundation so that, like you said, when they do, finally kiss or finally take that leap of faith, it's like, oh, it means something, because you know what they're risking.
Right. Especially, with Sean's background and his history with
Yes.
Christmas and his family. And so it didn't feel forced or contrived. And that was yet another reason why I was able to connect to it. And I love the line that your character Gabby says, that Christmas is synonymous with stress. And that was just heartbreaking
Yeah.
to hear. So for you as Tatyana, how is Christmas for you? Or is there any correlation between you and Gabby as it relates to how you feel about Christmas?
No, I love Christmas. There's some Christmases I remember because I was working as a kid, and I started my work before Fresh Prince. I did a lot of theater, and I did Broadway, and the holidays are the time when everybody wants to go to theater. So
Mhm.
so early on, I definitely spent holidays working. But the holidays are really important to my mom, really important to my dad, and they always made it special. So, and even now, so it's always been a special time for us. Me and my sisters put everything down, my whole family, cousins, everybody,
Mhm.
put everything, whatever's going on, we put down, and we just get in a room together, no matter what is going on, but that's what we do. And I love now with my children, they're 5 and 2. I
Mhm.
love being in my Christmas robe, just like my mom used to do. And I just sit in the middle of the living room with them, handing out the presents, trying to drink my little coffee that gets cold, whatever, 2 hours of sleep, maybe one. And I love being in that. I love being in my mom's role now because she made it so special for us.
Yeah.
So, I like that part now. I like making it. I like making Christmas for my family.
I can relate to that totally. So your character Gabby, she is a fashion photographer. Are you into photography at all, or is this like a completely new space in terms
No, it's a new space. My
of?
sister my sister is the photographer. She's incredible. I find it to be an incredible talent to be able to capture what's going on film. I play with cameras, just in my work,
Yeah.
but I'm certainly not a photographer. And I kind of marvel at it. So I did have fun learning the cameras on set. And I like that like old school versus new school,
Yeah.
like film versus digital conversations that they have. Because I certainly have those conversations, actually, music wise. Like I remember, like when I recorded my album, we recorded on tape.
Wow, tape.
Yes, girl, we recorded on tape.
Beautiful days.
Wow, it took days. It took days. But there's also at that time there was also, and think even now there's like a warmth. There's just something a little different. There's something a little imperfect. There's what I'm saying? There is magic in those imperfections. Um, And yeah, so I loved I admire photographers, but I certainly am not one.
Right. Same here. That was actually one of my favorite scenes when Gabby and Sean are going back and forth talking about their formats of photography. I think that's when I started to see, like, okay, there's chemistry here. There's real chemistry here. I can't wait to see how this develops. Um,
Mm.
and I,
Ah,
right, you saw what I did there.
ah.
And so I love the idea of a picture perfect holiday. You're both photographers, two very different fields. And I think it was Dina Meyer's character, Layla, who mentions you got to keep feeling. And she also talked about emotional range. And I love the connection between photography and Christmas and love. It's all rooted in feeling.
Mhm.
And so, with your character, Gabby, why do you think it was so difficult for her to feel?
I think the disconnect comes from it's like a melange. I think it comes from that family history, you know, n- as a form of protection that I think she probably definitely needed. You cut certain things off so they don't bleed out. You know,
Yeah.
we all do that. So I think she did that. She's done that. And I also think sometimes when you have to fight so hard to get to where you are, that hustle, even that helps you get to where you are. And but at the same time, it can also make you lose sight of the reason that you started doing it to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, it can, the hustle and what you have to go through while you're fighting can kind of like dampen the spark a little bit. And I think that's a part of it. It's like for her in a really a lot of times in the holiday films, like they'll talk about like the female character like slowing down
Yeah.
and getting to you know what I'm saying? But here with this story, it's really organic and it's really rooted in the story where she really has to slow down to get good
Hmm.
at her work, like to get good at her art, to be a better artist. And I liked that. I liked that sometimes, you know, sometimes we tell stories. Sometimes I tell stories where I have to make something work in the story for the like make it work. And this story wasn't constructed that way. It does work. It makes perfect sense.
It does. And again, I could relate to that on so many levels in terms of having
Mhm.
tunnel vision and just, going after the one thing that you see. You tend to forget about all these other important factors around you. So
Mhm.
I walked away from watching this feeling like, okay, I might need to slow down.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So I walked away from this feeling a lot of different awesome things. So thank you for that.
Thank you for
Um,
saying that.
yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, so this film also includes an original song sung by yours truly, which did a really good job evoking the Christmas spirit. Can you talk a bit about the song and how it came about?
Yes. Yes, the song came about. Um I've done a few Lifetime Christmas movies, and this is actually the third. I think there's yes, this is the third one that I've added a song to.
Mm,
One of them I actually sang in, but this song, you know, it came about. I've worked with the producers before and the director before. They know I love to sing. I always sing on set too, especially if I'm super tired. Like that's how I keep myself awake. Hopefully, it doesn't totally annoy the whole crew. But so far, nobody's complained that
I'm
much.
sure it doesn't.
Um, but they called and asked. They were, you know, we're looking for a song for the credits, and we thought, do you
Wow.
want to sing one? Like maybe we'll do an original Christmas song and you can sing it. And I was like, yes. And then when I heard the song, I love the vibe. The song has this like really cool like R&B kind of like
Yes.
um it's just like a smoothed out like loving like it has a dope vibe to it. And yeah, I love singing. So I was excited to be invited to sing and I was like, "Yes, when do I get on the plane?"
I mean, it's definitely one of those songs I would add to my Christmas playlist, and it would be on repeat. To your point of having a dope vibe, it definitely it's that. It made me smile. I kept going back to it just to, continue, staying in the Christmas spirit. So yeah, it was dope all around, in my humble opinion. And so This film comes out November 13th, A Picture Perfect Holiday, and it's starring
Mhm.
you, Tatyana Ali, Henderson Wade, and Dina Meyer, 8 p.m. on Lifetime. What do you want viewers to know about this, or what should they expect?
I want them to, um, you know, come to it just, I don't know, come to it as you are. And hopefully, if we did our job, we'll take you on a nice little ride.
I concur, and I will second that because it took me on a nice little ride. And again, going back to Lifetime and the Christmas movies, it always gets me in the mood of Christmas, way ahead of Christmas, and I think that's always such a nice setup
Yeah.
to the magic of the holidays. So thank you for your part in this. I thought you were awesome, and
Thank you.
I look forward to having conversations with you in the future for other
Oh, I
movies.
would love that. I would love that. So much fun. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.